If you want to check out snippets from my own cartoony sci-fi comic series, Smacked in the Head the Animated Series, hopefully crowdfunding soon, there's a link in the description below. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, two people asked for it, so Ray in the Back Issue Comics is back, and today we're taking a look at Adam Warren's Grunge the movie. Adam Warren being of Empowered, Dirty Pair, and Star Wars manga fame. Grunge the movie originally appeared in the Gen 13 Bootleg series in issues 8, 9, and 10, and were later collected into one volume. Admittedly, this one is a bit of a cheat. This is one of my favorite comic books, though not because of the art. Not a huge fan, in general, of the manga style. The more you try to get me to say it the other way, the more committed I am to never saying it that way. But it fits well for the subject matter, and it's done very well for its style, regardless of my taste. This is not your typical comic story. There's actually nothing of any consequence to the storyline of the Gen 13 characters that happens. Very much a product of the 90s, and in that regard, it's a comic about nothing on Seinfeld levels.
So we go into NBC, we tell them we got an idea for a show about nothing.
Exactly.
They say, what's your show about? I say nothing.
There you go.
I think you may have something here.
For this review, I focused mainly on issue 8, technically issue 1, so let's get into it, shall we? First off, here's our list of comic slaves.
Ugh, gross.
The lovable idiot Grunge and spunky Roxy sit in a theater with two other kung fu nerds as the film comes to its stunning conclusion. Outside, she prattles on about the handsomeness of Jet Li, as Grunge is lost in quote-unquote deep thought. I'm trying to think of how many times I've seen movies or stories open up exactly the same way. A character lost in thought, another character carrying on, until they say the obligatory Earth 2 fill in the blank name. So inspiration hits, and Grunge tells Roxy he could direct movies, of course. He tells her that hack American directors do Hong Kong movie riffs that suck, and Hong Kong directors are always coming over and making movies here which suck. Thusly, he begins to eloquently list all of his qualifications for blending Hong Kong action flicks with good ol' American crass commercialism and stupid good fun. God, I miss good ol' crass American commercialism, and the days when companies actually wanted to make money. 1B.C. He calls himself a pop culture pioneer and says he was into anime way before it ever got popular here.
Anime? What's that?
You know, those Japanese tunes with all the sex and blood and giant robots and lesbo schoolgirls and sailor suits and crap. That honestly is what most people thought of anime back when I was in high school. There were only 3 kids I knew of into it, and everyone thought they were weirdos that just liked watching cartoon porn. And babes with big honkin' eyes. Roxy humbly suggests in order to make movies you have to go to, film school or something. Grunge roars with laughter in her face, noting that actors are idiots and direct themselves all the time. Clearly a no-skills job, and in most modern exercises, it's hard to disagree with him. He suggests that as a director, he'd be more of an idea man and leave the boring technical stuff up to other people while he stars in the film. Plus, with his Gen Factor power, he'd be perfect to do all his own stunts, which is really the first somewhat intelligent thing he said since this comic started. With a burst of energy, Grunge springs into action, showing off all the styles of kung fu he's mastered, including the quote-unquote coolest style, Drunken Master, before tripping over a potted plant and hurting himself. Roxy is naturally impressed, I think she's placating him, that he studied martial arts, and he tells her he didn't actually study them, but he watches a lot of movies and that's almost as good. Grunge continues to pontificate on the importance of story and suggests that story, let alone good story, is strictly optional. And in most modern exercises, it's hard to disagree with him. So essentially, all Grunge has to do is come up with a few brilliant ideas to substitute for story, then hire some screenwriter to pad it out with filler, boring crap like plot or theme or characterization. Check it out! I can brainstorm up a story on the fly for the greatest martial arts comedy action exploitation movie ever, and it would go a little something like this. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive.
That is so deep. I get the idea already, Grunge.
Grunge sets the stage, describing himself as a studly wandering swordsman heading back to his peasant village in historical China with his babe sidekick called Kiddo.
Kiddo? My name is Kiddo?
Tight close-up.
Fade in.
When suddenly his keen senses detect trouble. Shock and horror! Their beloved historical peasant village is engulfed in flames. Ah, that old PlayStation logo is always so great to see. Wait, you're not E? Like naughty? Or E for everyone? So like, you're not everyone? I assume it's naughty. Moving on!
Coke machines in historical China. Right.
This is called product placement, babe, and it's way more important than like a historically accurate script or whatever. Grunge has his big, sensitive emote moment as his bro, lays mortally wounded and dying in his arms, and comparing him to a Scott Weiland or Chris Cornell wannabe little bro. Funny that Roxy is commenting on Sarah Rainmaker being killed off screen and not in a big death scene, or even in a close-up. Not true! We just saw her stabbed to the Coke machine. Oh, I guess that was meant as Coke's close-up then, not hers. Is that also a play on what Grunge thinks of her given her background? A glimpse into the P. Edmund Chang's inner psychology. Bro. Promise me, you must get me revenge. Did you catch that last thing he said? I said give me revenge, you dolt! What the heck, was he eating ketchup or something? Grunge explains to Roxy the importance of keeping a narrative focus on only one hunky male protagonist in an action movie. Suddenly, without even an establishing shot, it's the oppressive forces of the Qing government or whatever posing up a storm. Grunge explains that he's a fan of weird phrases that pop up in mangled English subtitles and thinks it'd be cool to incorporate them. Roxy tells him that's stupid and he explains that it's postmodern, meaning that it's really cool, but doesn't really make sense. Ha ha ha! Roxy lets it go and questions his use of Japanese ninjas in historical China, which he basically reasons out to be basically Chinese ninjas. The duo are in trouble as Kiddo is slammed into Grunge on the ground. Things are dire. From when out of the sky, a mysterious figure appears.
When the tree falls, the monkeys run.
Roxy questions Grunge's use of Caitlin Fairchild as a Shaolin warrior monk. He changes it to warrior nun and again explains that historical accuracy is way overrated. Sounds familiar. Excuse me. In fact, reasons Grunge, he'd be an idiot not to take advantage of all the crucial babality in this scene. Roxy pitches a fit. Women, right? Oh, the cat never ever ends up scantily clad in real life, huh? But Grunge gives a peace offering of something for the ladies. How generous.
Ooh, ah.
Well, Kiddo approves at least. More cheesy dialogue. The goons spring into action and a flurry of weapons whirl fast and furious as Kiddo is left out for some reason. The bad guys fall one after the other, and Grunge delivers a debilitating blow to Anime Eyes. He feels bad and apologizes for the shot to her big honkin' eyes as another villain takes aim. Grunge's keen senses kick in just in time to avoid the swinging blade, breaking the weapon in half as he comes down and deftly beheads his enemy in one shot. One final not ninja remains, and he springs into action, swinging a giant flaming wood pole at Grunge. Gee, Roxy, now who's inappropriate? The pair stare each other down, when with a wry smile, Grunge channels a power move. I've always loved this foot scrape image. Good God, man! As the final bad guy falls, a business card wafts on the air. The girls ask him if he's found a convenient plot device to help facilitate a quick transition to the next action sequence, or a clue to the identity of what slimy, malevolent wad destroyed their village. Close up.
Fade in.
I know someone who's going to pay, and pay dearly, and his name is spelled Thebigbos.
You do know that boss is spelled with more than one S, right?
You're really failing to nurture my creative vision, Roxy. Here's the letters page. See how much better the world used to be, kids? Before the internet, all the whiners and weirdos were relegated to the letters to the editor pages. And that's the end of part 1. If you want part 2, let me know. Lord knows part 1 barely scratches the surface of all the historically accurate gunfights, shower scenes, Hot Wheels track bondage, MTV references, and tons of Wildstorm characters standing in for goons and thugs getting cut down by the heroes. Drop a comment below. After that, like, share, and subscribe. If there's enough of a demand, I'll make it happen. I'm holding out for at least 5 people asking me to do the next one this time, though. My love of this story comes obviously from the play on action movies, but it hits me nostalgically because I'm gradually becoming an old man, and of course it does. Friday night or Saturday in 1999 or 2000, living in Orlando, my friend and I would either head to City Walk at Universal or downtown Disney to the movie theater to see whatever the latest was. Afterwards, we'd walk around those complexes, similar to the ones that appear in the backgrounds of this story, talking about the movie before ducking into the gigantic Virgin record store to head upstairs, sit on the couches in the book section, flipping through trade paperback comics. Inevitably, I would end up buying 1 or 2 of them, and/or movies on DVD or soundtracks. Probably where I got this comic, actually. Long story short, I love seeing artists capturing the environments of the day. Like I have this one comic called Chasing Dogma from back in the day when Kevin Smith movies were, depending on your taste, still good. And this shot makes me very happy. I probably lived in a cleaner version of this in high school and college. Anywho, if you're new to the channel, this is the part where I see if there's anything I learned while reading, either story-wise or art-wise, that I could apply to my own comic series. This time around, I don't usually care for manga. There's something about it that feels like everyone is just copying everyone else artistically. But I gotta say, the speed lines really are great for showing extreme action. Not that American comics don't do similar things, but I'm wondering if there's a way that I can use the manga version and maybe stylize them more to my own particular cartoons. I don't know if that makes sense. Regardless, I probably shouldn't be afraid to adopt concepts from manga or anime if they are useful tools. Alright, that's it. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.